to my square foot garden. Although it's snowy, cold day here in Virginia, I'm working on my garden. Seed catalogs began arriving in my mail in December, and I couldn't wait to see what new varieties I was going to be able to plant this year. Today, I'd like to share with you my 5 top tips for successful square foot gardening. Tip number 1, location, location, location. It doesn't matter if you call your garden method square foot gardening, intensive gardening, wide row planting, or just plain old gardening. You must have at least 6 hours of direct sunlight for your garden if you want to grow sun-loving plants like tomatoes, cucumbers, and squash. If your garden location gets less sunshine than the ideal, there's still some hope. You could concentrate on plants that need less sunlight per day. Lettuce in particular does well in a shadier location, especially if you live where summers are hot. Tip number 2, start out small. Many first-time or inexperienced gardeners start out with a huge garden. The time it takes to maintain it and keep up with the watering, weeding, and harvesting becomes simply overwhelming, and you give up midway through the summer if you make it that long. A good size for your first square garden is a 4 foot by 4 foot square. After your first year, you might find yourself wanting more, and then you could try a 4 by 8 or 2 4 by 4s. Tip number 3, frame your beds. You can just mound your square foot garden, but you'll find it much easier to maintain if you frame it. You can use almost any material that you have on hand, but if you can afford it, I highly recommend that you use Trex deck boards. Besides its longevity, it won't leach harmful chemicals into your garden as treated boards will, nor will it rot or be subject to insects. It also looks good. Tip number 3, take the time to prepare your garden soil. Don't just use the dirt that's out in the back of your yard. You need to plan to use the good stuff. So you remove the sod from your 4 foot by 4 foot square, spread a tarp, remove the next 6 to 12 inches of soil, and if it's halfway decent, you can mix it up in with sand, peat moss, vermiculite, other amendments, and then mix it up well and put it back. If it's not that good a dirt, replace it with stuff that you can buy from a good farmer. Tip number 5, stick with the tried and true. Although you may be tempted to buy lots of seeds from those nice new shiny catalogs, you will probably have better success in the long run by going to your local nursery, garden store, or big box store like Walmart or Lowe's to get your seeds and plants. They will carry the varieties that are known to do well in your area and that are favorites with all their customers. Nothing is as discouraging, especially when you're first starting out, for your nice plants not to grow and flourish like you imagined. Well, follow these 5 tips and let me know how your square foot gardening adventure turned out. Until next time, happy gardening!